am going to discuss the Albert Bandura's social learning theory and the information processing theory. So first, I am going to discuss the social learning theory. So in social learning theory, which is proposed by Albert Bandura, it emphasizes the importance of observing, modeling, and imitating the behaviors, including the attitudes and emotional reactions of others. In social learning theory, it considers how both the environmental and cognitive factors interact to influence human learning and behavior. In social learning theory, Albert Bandura agrees with the behaviorist learning theories of classical conditioning and the operant conditioning. However, he adds two important ideas. Number one is mediating processes, which occurs between stimuli and responses. And number two, we have behavior is learned from the environment through the process of observational learning. So this time we will focus with the observational learning. Okay. So here, children observe the people around them behaving in various ways. This is illustrated during the famous Bobodal experiment, according to Bandura. And individuals that are observed are called the models. So in society, children are surrounded by many influential models such as our parents within the family. And not only them, but also those characters on children's TV, friends with their peer group, and teachers at schools. These models provide examples of behavior to observe and imitate, like masculine and feminine, or pro and anti-social pro and others. We all know that children pay attention to some of these people or the so-called models and encode their behavior. At the latter time, they may imitate or copy the behavior they have observed. They may do this regardless of whether the behavior is gender appropriate or not. But there are a number of processes that make it more likely that the child will reproduce the behavior that is its society deems appropriate for its gender. Okay, so according to observational theory, first, the child is more likely to attend to and imitate those people it perceives as similar to itself. Consequently, it is more likely to imitate behavior modeled by people at the same gender. And secondly, the people around the children will respond to the behavior it imitates with either reinforcement or punishment. If a child imitates models behavior, the consequences are rewarding. So here, the child is likely to continue performing such behaviors. So aside from the social learning theory of Bandura, we have also here the information processing theory. So we all know that technology has advanced over the decades, taking up today's information age. Now, modern operations and solutions have become driven by information and communication technologies. In fact, data creation, usage, distribution, and manipulation have become critical in various industries. These are considered transformative elements that influence outcomes, strategies, performance, including returns of institution. So with this, It is important to be aware of how information is processed and consumed. The information processing theory describes how individuals will record, store, and retrieve information in their brains. So according to Han, 2007, this affects the motivation and behavior of a person. Consequently, the actions and behavior of individuals influence society as a whole. Information processing theory is an approach to cognitive development studies that aims to explain how information is encoded into our memory. So it is based on the idea that humans do not merely respond to stimuli from the environment. Instead, humans process the information they receive, while experts believe that the brain's mechanism and functions are relatively simple. The magnitude and scope of neural networks and their behaviors are quite powerful as a whole. This include how the brain processes information, and here in information processing theory, it not only explains how the information is captured, but also it explains how it is stored and retrieved as well. So the process begins with receiving input, also called as stimulus, so from environment using various senses. The input is then described and stored in the memory, which is retrieved when needed. The mind or the brain is like to a computer that is capable of analyzing the information from the environment. And lastly, information processing affects the person's behavior. In the expectancy theory of motivation, an individual process information about behavior, outcome, relationship. Then they can form expectations based on the information and make decision. So with this, that is the very short discussion with the social learning theory of Albert Bandura and including the information processing theory. So thank you for watching.